Welcome to Football Discussion Daily. My name is Joe, and I'm here with the co-host
EGO.
CGO or George. Today is the 19th of April, 2026. Quick reminder, please like us or subscribe to us. We release long form on YouTube every morning around 7 a.m. We release short form, Instagram, TikTok, and other platforms as well. Today or yesterday, a lot of stuff happened. There was several Premier League games. Obviously, the biggest result was Richmond Kickers beating Union Omaha 2-1. We'll leave other podcasts to talk about that. But today, Brentford drew Fulham 0-0. Leeds beat Wolves 3-0. Bournemouth beat Newcastle 2-1. Tottenham and Brighton drew 2-2. Heartbreaker for Tottenham. And Manchester United beat Chelsea 1-0. In other news, Copa del Rey was won by Real Sociedad over Atletico Madrid on penalties. So good for them. It's a big win. George, let's talk about that first. I don't know if you would watch this game, but did anything stand out to you in terms of performances, in terms of players, in terms of tension, drama in the match? Anything stood out for you?
Well, it was a keenly contested game because Real Sociedad went ahead, and then Atletico Madrid were able to get the equalizer through Ademola Lookman, a Nigerian player, and then Real Sociedad went ahead again, and then through Julian Alvarez, Atletico Madrid were able to get their equalizer. I think a few minutes to the end of full time. Then it ended 2-2. They went into extra time, and the scoreline remained the same. Then they went into penalty shootout. Now, one thing I would like to say is the good thing about this is that the coach of Real Sociedad happens to be an American. His name is Pellegrino Matarazzo. Now, he has made history as the first U.S. coach to win a Copa del Rey. So that's a big plus for him. He was employed as the coach of Real Sociedad in 2025. So what it means is that within 1 year, he has been able to achieve something that is very remarkable. So, and this is Real Sociedad fourth title, which is good for them. And credit must go to the coach and to the players for making this to happen. And it's a very sad one for Atletico Madrid that they couldn't at least get hold of the trophy, the Copa del Rey, despite the fact that they knocked out Barcelona. One would make them the favorite to win this trophy, but somehow that never happened. So good one for Real Sociedad.
No, it's interesting. I mean, Atletico has definitely been the third most successful team. Sociedad, I can't remember if they've won a trophy in the last 10 years. So it's always exciting to see a variance when it comes to trophy winning. Sociedad, I think, has been in the La Liga for a long time. So quite good for them. As an American, though, I'll say I have zero feelings about American coach winning. I mean, it's a nice milestone, but like nobody is going to remember. We really need somebody to have a lifelong career, and maybe that's this guy, Pellegrino Matarazzo. Maybe it's somebody else. We've had Wagner, who coached Huddersfield, and I think he's been coach in Germany for a while. He's American. We have Fabian Hürzeler, who was born in America, coaching the Premier League right now. He's a German national. I think he moved back to Germany when he was a small child. So certainly not unheard of, but we'd love to see that coaching tree go up. I think there's a lot of fundamental issues that is preventing that from happening. I think it'll be a while before we see a American Alex Ferguson, American Jose Mourinho. There's not many Jose Mourinho or Alex Fergusons to begin with, but I think it'll be quite a while before we see them. But quite an accomplishment for American coaching.
But Joe, while you are mentioning those American coaches, you forget to mention Jesse Marsh, the guy who is the coach of Canada. Remember, he was also one time the coach of Leeds United, and yes, he did fairly well. So that guy is also a very good coach, so far as I'm concerned, and he should be one of those coaches that America should be looking out for when it comes to bringing in a coach that can coach the U.S. men's national team. That's what I feel, because he has been doing well with Canada.
Yeah, I mean, he's young enough. Speaking of Marsh, like he's young enough that I think that he'd probably be looking for a club ticket next, but he'll have his chance at a national team if he wants it. But good for. I mean, yeah, it's exciting. Sociedad winning Copa del Rey. George, do you feel like this impacts Atletico's form for their tie against Arsenal in a couple of weeks? The narrative going to that tie is that it's likely to be a bore fest, 0-0. Do you think that from what you saw today, does that narrative change when it comes to Champions League? Because I think Atletico's La Liga season is they're not going to win the title. They're going to qualify for Champions League. It's
one of the things people have known Atletico for in the past is their defensive solidity. But I think this season, their defense has not been that great, to be honest with you. They've not been that. That's not the Atletico Madrid we always know. When it comes to being strong defensively, they have always been good, especially in the past. But this season, no, they've not been good. And that might be one of the things that work against them when they play against Arsenal, because Arsenal has a better defense compared to Atletico at the moment. And for two teams that have been known for being good when it comes to the defensive department, well, the way it is, all Arsenal need to do is maybe use their set piece, get a goal, and then that might be it. I'm very skeptical if Atletico Madrid, if they have what it takes to knock out Arsenal at
we'll
the
see.
semi-final of this competition. But in football, anything can happen. But
I'd
Arsenal is the
also
favorite
say
to go through.
I'd also say Barcelona was probably the better team, except they had two players make two boneheaded red card decisions that
Yes.
completely changed that tide.
Yeah.
And Barcelona, even after the first leg, still might have won if it weren't for that red card. And so I don't think Arsenal is going to do that. They got all the bad yellows out of their system last year. They have been more disciplined this year. I still think the uncreative is a valid criticism of Arsenal, but they can still create via set pieces and create some on open play. So it'll be interesting. We'll talk about that later. Let's move on, George, to I think let's end with Tottenham Brighton. Let's talk about Chelsea versus Manchester United. I watched quite a bit of this game, most of it. George, the Chelsea attack has really not been great. Do you feel like that system? Do you feel like it's motivation? Do you feel like it's the right combination of talent? Like, what do you think is going on there that you had seen today?
Now, when you look at the game today, you see that Cole Palmer was off. Alejandro Garnacho couldn't beat his man. Same thing with Pedro Neto. Most of them struggled today. In fact, both sides, both Manchester United and Chelsea, didn't have a great game today, if you ask me. The two teams didn't really play too well. But we can forgive Manchester United. The reason is because three of their regular centre backs didn't play today. Leno was out. Harry Maguire was out. Martinez was also out. These guys were not. They were not in the team today. So you can forgive Manchester United if they didn't really play so spectacularly. But for Chelsea, who are those who are not in the team? Not a lot of them, apart from Yao Pedro, who was absent in today's game. Most of the players were available. But yet, I didn't see that fighting spirit in the team. It's more, the Chelsea team I saw today looks like a demotivated team. Even when they were trailing by a goal, I didn't see any sense of urgency from them.
No, you're
So
right.
it shows you that the coach, as I don't know what the guy is really doing. I've told you, this coach, I keep asking myself, what was the rationale to employ a coach who started his managerial career in 2022? There is no rationale. Nobody. I'm waiting for somebody to explain to me why the Chelsea owners will bring in a coach like this.
George, let's focus on today's match because I do feel like it's difficult to get somebody in the middle of the season. Chelsea's not a place top managers want to go to right now. There's a lot of reasons we've talked about a lot. In terms of today's game, though, let's talk about some performances. I do agree that Manchester United offenses weren't bad, but their goal was very well worked. That was a very good pass by Bruno. I think it was I forget who created the space for Cunha, but like somebody blocked off some of the Chelsea defenders in a smart way. Yes, it was Sheshko. And then, it was just a very well worked goal and then a great finish from Cunha. And that's all you really need in a first level. And I don't know if Manchester United were trying that hard offensively because they thought they could defend against Chelsea, and they were right. So I don't know how much I criticize Manchester United's attack in this game just because Chelsea did not look dangerous before the goal or after the goal. Manchester United, I felt, kept the game a little bit more slower after the goal and didn't commit as many players forward, which impacted their attack. And because they knew that game situation, that's really smart from Carrick. Carrick has. I'll say this. I think that 3-4 months ago, I thought there's no way they're going to go through this whole Ole Gunnar Solskjaer thing again, where they bring in somebody who's attached to the club, he overperforms, but when it comes to years long, 2-3 years, he doesn't have what it takes to manage this club. I think Carrick has changed my opinion on this, and I think that it'll be really interesting to see what they do this summer, because I thought that was a really smart decision from Carrick.
When you look at the game today, they only had just one shot on goal, and that was the shot on goal that went straight into the net, and they took advantage of the fact that Wesley Fofana uh, went went out of the game because I think he got injured because of the collision he had with Robert Sanchez. And then as soon as he left the pitch, Manchester United quickly they took advantage of that opportunity and they were able to get the goal because Chelsea switched off. Garnacho was supposed to track Bruno Fernandes, but he couldn't do it. He allowed Bruno to get past him, and then he made a very nice cross. Chesko was very smart. He was able to stop a Chelsea defender and then created the space for Cunha to put the ball in at the back of the net. So it was a good one, but very disappointing for Chelsea because Chelsea has now lost 4 straight Premier League games without scoring a single goal. They conceded 8 goals.
Yeah.
This is the first time in a very long time Chelsea is in this situation. I think the last time they were in this situation was 1998.
George, I think let's my final thought on this Chelsea team is, at what point did Chelsea is just they're the 6th best team in the country? Like, they're not one of the top 5 teams. They don't deserve Champions League based on results. And I just feel like if you're Chelsea fans, if you're Chelsea management, you have to have this contingency. What do we do? We're probably not going to do that, and that they probably have to be thinking about that right now, because I feel like they've just always assumed we're going to qualify for Champions League. It'll be really interesting to watch their strategy this summer.
Joe, but if you look at it, even 6th position is not even guaranteed for them because currently they are on the same point with Brentford, 48 points. We have Bournemouth, 48. In fact, the point difference between Chelsea, who are in 6th position, and Fulham, who are in 12th position, is just 3 points. So what it means is that Chelsea can even drop off. Even they may not even be at the top 10 if it's not.
George, let's move on to Tottenham Brighton. There's a lot of football to play with Chelsea. We'll be here for all of it. It'll be great. Tottenham Brighton is a very consequential result for this year's relegation race because this is a game where Tottenham were up 2-1, and then very late in the game, Tottenham defender could have cleared it, didn't clear it. Brighton, I think it was defender Van Heckel, I think, won the ball very high up the pitch, passed it, and goal for Brighton. Very good finish. But this is just very demoralizing. This is a team that has not won since December. A Tottenham team that had high expectations for this season. I disagree with those high expectations. I don't think I did not expect them to be relegation candidates, but just very demoralizing. When George, did you watch this game? Do you feel like Tottenham can come back from this and get a win? They need to win one in the next 5, and they haven't won in 15 games. Do you feel like this is something they can come back from?
So when you look at the fixture, the remaining fixture Tottenham has is going to be very difficult. I'm just telling you the truth because they had the opportunity to at least to salvage their chance of staying in the Premier League today, but that lack of concentration from Danso, because that was a ball you would have just cleared, because we're already playing injury time, so you don't take any chance. You don't try to keep any ball inside the box. But I don't know what the guy was thinking when he was trying to hold on to the ball, and before he knew it, the ball was taken away from him. And then a pass was laid to Ruta, who was able to convert that chance. And it ended 2-2. So if you look at even the Roberto De Zerbi was pained. Most of the fans were so disappointed because that was a game they would have won. But it's unfortunate George, it happened this way. So
another question on this game I have for you. I saw some criticism on social media for Xavi Simons. He scored in the 78th minute, something like that. And it was a good goal. It wasn't like amazing, but it was a good goal.
Yes.
He took off his shirt. He celebrated like they just won the league. He certainly acted as if this was a winner. And there was some criticism of him. It was a lot too early, and there was an overreaction. Do you feel like there's validity to that criticism, George?
No, no, I don't think we all know how Xavi Simon has been struggling with Tottenham. So if a player is able to, because that goal he scored was it was a fantastic goal. So if a player who has been struggling with the club since joining the club was able to score that kind of a goal, which seems to be like a winner, he has every right to celebrate the way he celebrated. So people should allow the young man to enjoy himself, because if he doesn't score, we still come out and criticize him. So since he was able to get that goal, I think he has every right to celebrate. So those criticizing him,
Yeah,
I think they are just they are being too hard on him, if I'm to
yeah.
say.
And to Travis Simmons' credit, I think he still played great the last 13 minutes. He did not shut off mentally. It was who was at fault for the clearance? Was that uh Danso? You said so. It was Danso who shut off, not Simmons. Simmons honestly had one of his better games. I've been critical of him. I thought he's had poor mentality in the past. I thought he did fine today. And again, Tottenham. I noticed an immediate. It's disappointing if you're a fan to supporter to lose like this, but I did see somewhat more life than I did that they had under Tudor today. They certainly made a lot more effort and looked a lot more cohesive. I still feel like they're going to really struggle just because it's really hard for De Zerbi to come in here, anybody to come in and succeed. And there's so little time left that there's some luck, a lot of luck involved. But they looked a little bit better than they have all year today. So we'll see. George, any of the other results you want to talk about? I watched the Brentford Fulham game. I'm a Brentford supporter, and this game was boring and nothing worth talking about. I don't even want to get into it. Leeds beat Wolves, so Wolves is basically needs to win every game and West Ham, I think, to lose every game and needs to make up 30 goal difference or something like that. Wolves is more or less mathematically relegated. I think that's been a certainty for a while. Newcastle is really struggling. They lost 1-2 today. Bournemouth, I think, has won like 4 out of 5 or something. Iraola announced he is leaving this week, but they still won. George, is any of these results do you feel like is super consequential for the Premier League or worth talking about?
If you look at the win Bournemouth got today, now they are the same point with Chelsea. So what it means is that if they continue with the way they are going, because now they've maintained 13 matches unbeaten run, which is quite an achievement for the team. So the team is really doing very well. They are on 8th position now. So what it means is that if they can continue with this good form, what it means is that they can also make, at least get a Europa League spot or even Conference League, which would not be a bad one for Bournemouth if you look at the level the club has been, or let me
Yeah.
say, when you try to examine the club as a whole. So if they're able to make it to Europe next season, to me, it's a very big plus for the team and to the coach. So I was very impressed because they were able to repeat what they did to Newcastle last season. Because I remember last season when they played at St. James's Park, they defeated Newcastle. I think it ended 4-1, if I'm not mistaken here. And then they came again and still got the result at the St. James's Park. St. James's Park, as we all know, is a very difficult ground to go
St.
to
James
and get results. So,
St. James's Park had one of the best atmospheres in the league. It's great. Newcastle, though, is really struggling. I think Eddie Howe's a great coach, but I think this team might benefit from a change of scenery. I'd love to see what Eddie Howe can do with any number of teams in this league. And I just think that his time is up with Newcastle at the end of the season. And I think that there's certainly respect between management and Howe, but I'd be really curious to see if they move in a new direction this summer. Because Howe has been so good for them, and just this season, maybe it's just run its course. We'll see. It'll be interesting fun this season. George, we have to close out. It's been 20 minutes. I'm going to close out and just say standard questions. Number one, which result really excited you today? What did you feel about Tottenham Brighton? Do you feel like Tottenham, this is something they can bounce back from? Do you feel like Chelsea is done and dusted in the Champions League race? And what fixture excites you the most from tomorrow? Please let us know your thoughts. Thank you for listening.